Hello team. I just had a dream. I woke up from after our service, our WordRoom service that we just had a few hours ago. I had this dream, I think about Georgia. So I'm just gonna share my dream. It was very strange. I was in a place where they took me in this military vehicle. And this military vehicle resembled like some kind of giant helicopter, but it was shaped like a boat in the sky. It was flat like a deck, and it had these propellers that were all over. It looked something like a drone, but very large, and it had lots of compartments. And people were being loaded onto this helicopter, and there were a secret number of people. It was like a small military unit that was also being loaded. And I felt like I was invisible. It was weird because I felt like in certain parts of the dream I could see everything that was going on, but I was also invisible. Small number of people that were allowed to be on this boat were given these burlap sacks, like potato sacks. So these sacks were like potato bags that you could use. And I just knew that they were for if people got wounded. That if they got wounded, the sack would act like a skin. So let me explain. The helicopter went off and it started going off, and all of a sudden I started seeing bullets rain from the sky over Georgia. So there was like flak. There was flak being shot up into the air and bullets raining down, and they were hurting people. Some kind of, I don't know who was shooting at them, but it was some kind of damage that was being done. So imagine, what flak is. It's like the machine guns that shoot a bomb up into the sky to blow up at a certain point. So at a certain point in the sky, they blow up, and they're usually to shoot down enemy aircraft. So I knew for whatever reason that our ship was being shot at. The ship that I was in was greatly being shot at, and the ship was meant to get through. So this ship was meant to get through, but there was so much flak being shot at us as well as other people, and all the while the people of Georgia were suffering. Now, let me continue. So bullets being just rained down, and I could see people just getting shot, and it was a little bit gruesome that people in Georgia were being hurt because of whatever this terrible shooting that was going on. I forgot to add something at this moment. There were army men on top of the deck of the ship, and this is how I saw it. They looked like, the little green army men, like toys. But I could tell they were toys, but the color was dark enough that they were trying to fool people that there was a real army on top of the deck. And I know this has some type of meaning, maybe about a false presence of the military being involved, but really they're involved in a very different way. I'm not sure, but they were on the top of the deck. So perhaps they were there to be targets. I'm not really sure, but I needed to add that part. And it was really strange that the people inside who were trying to get through, who were trying to get to the other side with the military in the front, it was very interesting to see that all they had really to protect them was the exterior of this craft, which I just knew was protected. And I saw windows, and it was like, I was scared to look out the windows, but I just felt like the windows were bulletproof. I just knew that they were bulletproof. However, the engines weren't. So I felt like the ship we were on, there was a chance that it would not get through. And in the ship, if you were on top of the deck of the ship, you would almost have certainly been killed. And if you got a bullet hole, I saw the people that were putting the burlap sacks over their heads, and they were screaming, men and women, but most of the women were screaming. And I just felt like if you got shot and you had a hole in your skin, you would bleed out. So they would press the burlap sack, the potato sack, to their body to just act like a piece of skin. And as your blood would dry, it would form like a sealant around it. And I don't even know if that's a real thing, but that's just what I saw in the dream, that they had little to protect them except for to survive. And usually if you're gonna have something that's gonna just stop the wound, it's just a temporary thing. You're just trying to survive at this point. But at the same time, there's this big unit. Now, I don't know if the military part was good or bad, but I saw that somehow the military was involved, and helping the people get through. But a large majority of the people were going to be hurt because of what was happening. Before I had this dream, I went to sleep and I prayed specifically for the Lord to give me a dream and to reveal. And then as I was falling asleep, I just knew that I was going to receive some kind of dream, some kind of something. And I had Melody and Margie, they were working on our Chartroom video editing while I was sleeping. And so I woke up right after the dream was over and I was like, I need to film this. Let me put pause on the work and let me film this. I believe this dream is from the Lord. And I'm not sure, but I believe that this dream has something to do with the elections. I have a feeling, if I think about the dreams on the surface, it was like an evacuation attempt. But it would not explain how the military was in the front of the vehicle hiding. Like they didn't want anybody to know that they were in the vehicle. I don't know if this military was good military or bad military, but it was doing something, getting some of the people to safety because of the great attack that was coming. Oh, and by the way, I asked somebody towards the end of the dream, what place is this? And there was a certain word, and I can't remember the name of that word, but they said, this is this place. However, when the dream was over, I want to say just seconds before I woke up, I received the interpretation that place, that name that I received could be translated as Georgia. And in my spirit, I knew it was correct, that this place was Georgia. However, it was encoded. So I almost wondered that why I wouldn't receive just the straight name Georgia, but I knew in my spirit it was Georgia, especially after the dream. Like I don't know how I knew these things. So I believe that the dream was trying to say that this is an encoded message, and there's probably something that somebody's going to pick up from this dream that has to do with something, some kind of attack against Georgia. I don't know. I wanted to just put this out there just as quick as I had it. Please pray for Georgia. And if it has anything to do with the Georgia elections, an attack on the people and the masses getting hurt because of some of the flack that they're getting, okay? And flack in English language can be translated as pushback. Pushback. Pushback is where you try to do something and people give you a hard time for it. They call that, the expression is called, you're getting flack. And somebody will say, if somebody says, hey, stop giving me flack about that, what they're saying is, stop giving me a hard time about it. Something that should be easy is getting a lot of pushback. They're giving them a hard time and it's hurting the people. So that's an interpretation of the word flack. And I want you guys to just keep that in mind, that I don't know all the full interpretation of this dream or what it may mean. If you're from Georgia, maybe this dream means something different to you. I do know that there's a major election that's been in contest and battle, and I don't know. But I want you guys to keep in mind and pray about the people of Georgia, okay? I love you guys. I'll see you guys on our next dive, Monday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our dive members. Dive membership is $18 a month for our whole month. And then we'll have Chartroom there, continuing the class part 2 of 1929 stock market class. So the 1929 stock market class, I hope to see you guys there. www.patreon.com/jsong_7. I'll see you guys next time.